What helps you fall asleep when you're just tossing and turning? Write in the comments what you think about this. Enjoy the show. Story 1. If you're tossing and turning, try these tips. Asterisk, asterisk, relax, asterisk, asterisk. Use deep breathing or meditation. Asterisk, asterisk, create comfort, asterisk, asterisk. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. Asterisk, asterisk, stick to a schedule, asterisk, asterisk. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Asterisk, asterisk, limit screens, asterisk, asterisk. Avoid screens before bed. Asterisk, asterisk, check comfort, asterisk, asterisk. Ensure your mattress and pillows are comfortable. Asterisk, asterisk, avoid stimulants. Asterisk, asterisk, skip caffeine and heavy meals before bedtime. Asterisk, asterisk, do something relaxing, asterisk, asterisk. Read a book or listen to calming music. Asterisk, asterisk, get up, asterisk, asterisk. If you can't sleep, do something relaxing until you feel drowsy. This helped me a lot, you can try too. Story 2. Count backwards from 1,000, pronouncing the entire number, 9,999, with uneven timings between each number. Take 5 seconds or 10 or 2 to say the next number. Taking your time is key. I've never made it below the low 900s. I use this sparingly, as I don't usually have trouble sleeping. It's there when I need it though, and it works for me. I find once I start forgetting what number I'm on, and I have to guess, I'm almost gone. Story 3, I big stretch and yawn. Do a big fake yawn and try and stretch every muscle in your body. Then do it again. The big thing for long-term is to start using your bed only for sleep and sex. No more reading in bed or watching TV or doom scrolling on your phone. Your body will learn that the bed is for sleeping. So when you lay down, it will signal your body that it's time to sleep. Story 4, I thought I was a genius for applying this to sleeping. So you know in those movies where someone gets hypnotized, the hypnotist always goes through, your arms are heavy, the energy drains out. And if you follow along, you let your body go slack, and it's great to try in bed when you want to sleep. I basically thought I was hypnotizing myself to sleep. Turns out that's what meditation is. At least that's what I've been told. Story 5, set 2 10-minute timers with repeat timers so they ding, and I don't have to turn them off. First 10 so I can tell time's passing. Second ding is you can get up now. Having a timer for falling asleep helps me relax, knowing I won't be tossing and turning for hours. By the time 20 minutes pass, I'm so groggy I don't want to get up and pass out. If wide awake, I get up, do something for 20 minutes, then try to sleep again. Before this, I would toss and turn, then watch YouTube shorts for 8 hours. Story 6. I create a story in my head to focus on. Could be fantasizing about what I would do if I won the lottery. Could be designing my dream house. Could be imagining my dream vacation. Most of the time, it is a continued plot line that I build slowly throughout daydreams, etc. And it's usually a fantasy adventure or sci-fi story with unique characters. I name them and everything. So, I use my imagination to turn my focus away from life and stress. It helps a lot for me. I hope you find something that works for you. Story 7. I will usually a few things. I'll get up and go get the eye mask I have that freezes, so half of it becomes ice. Then when I come back, I'll take a sip or 2 of my water, and before I try to go back to sleep, I'll turn my sleeping app up on my phone. I use this white noise app every night that allowed me to customize the sound. So usually I'll just turn it up a little bit from what it's usually set at. Story 8. First, I scoot over to the cool side of the bed and flip the pillow to the cool side. Then as I lie there, I make my own dream. I imagine myself making something, usually cookies, specifically brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I make a big deal out of how I gather the ingredients, including my preferred grocery store brand of semi-sweet chocolate chips, IDKY, but they taste better than the famous brands. The good Plugra butter. Ponder whether I should use pecans or walnuts this time. Vanilla, eggs, sugars, etc. Then I start collecting the pans, mixer, rubber scraper, scoop for dough, parchment. I really get into the details. And I never even get the dough scooped into cookie balls, let alone into the oven. I usually fall hard asleep while I'm getting everything together. Story 9. My job and favorite games involve a lot of spatial optimization problems. Typically, visualizing a solution to whatever geometric problem was vexing me will grant me enough peace to sleep. However, occasionally my subconscious will frame the problem in a way that makes the solution non-trivial, and I will keep tossing and turning trying to find a different perspective, eventually waking up enough to realize why the visualization framework was insufficient to the task at hand will grant me enough peace to set the problem aside until morning. Story 10. I start with deep breathing exercises. Lay down on your back, close your eyes. Take a deep breath, slowly filling your belly with air. As you do, squeeze your toes. Concentrate on the tension in your toes. Then purse your lips. Slowly let the air out, and as you do, slowly release the tension in your toes. Concentrate on the tension leaving your toes, as if you're blowing it out with the air from your lips. Then move on to your feet. Repeat. Repeat this until you get to the top of your head. This helps me focus on relaxing. Story 11. I start at the top of my head and go down each body part, imagining what I'd choose if I got to design my body from scratch. Imagine current self plopped into somewhere in my past, forced to relive my life from that point until now. What would I spend my time doing? What tricks would I actually be able to use to become rich with what I know from the future? How many silly childhood things would just roll off my back because I'm confronting things with my current adult mind, etc. I picture entering a private forest and deciding where I want to go that day. Options are limitless, and I get to float there leisurely. Sometimes it's a beach in a hammock with a book alone. Sometimes it's a lake cabin with family. Sometimes it's amazing sex, but not in the forest. Dream forests still seem like they have bugs. Story 12. So here's a weird one. I snore especially when my neck is bent backward. It can even happen mildly when I'm mostly awake as the airway gets compressed. When I'm having trouble falling asleep, pull the pillow down a little bit and drape my head toward the top of it. Compressed neck, a bit sleepy. A few minutes later, I'm in a daze but not sleeping, and then inadvertently wake myself when the snoring starts. Then I adjust the pillow and my head comfortably. Having never fully shaken the groggy daze, I usually fall right asleep. Story 13. Since I've watched them religiously until endgame and can better recall scenes, I imagine I'm trying to survive in an MCU movie. Choose a random one and try to start from the beginning. Always remember, for some reason, you're unlucky enough to nearly always be in each scene, basically like a Watcher or Stan Lee, but without the plot armor. Tony Stark's rocking out to AC/DC in war-torn Afghanistan, and you're just sitting next to him dying from the heat, blackout due to the firefight. Next thing you know, you woke up and terrorists are filming a ransom of Stark and mention an unforeseen survivor. IRL, you start to slowly get sleepy, nearly doze off, come back awake. Fast forward a bunch and Jensen needs to buy Tony some time. Well, you decide to tag along but end up tripping and whacking your head, blacking out right next to Tony. When he's about to head out the tunnel, Tony grabs you and jets away from the cave. Fast forward some more, you're now helping Stark test out the jet boot system, because last time he used 10% and launched himself into the ceiling, etc., etc. Now you're asleep and might be actually dreaming about Iron Man. Your mileage may vary. This has been working for me since college. Also, kind of how I start my lucid dreams. Story 14. I'm a dedicated bedtime procrastinator. What usually does it for me is deep, repetitive breathing. Breathe in slowly, hold for a count in my head, a number between 7, 10, exhale slowly and do the same. Repeat a few times. Even when I'm at my jitteriest, this works for me within a relatively short period of time. I will also sometimes add another thin blanket for the weight, but not so much that I get hot. Have a fan on for both noise and breeze, and use an eye mask, sometimes with built-in speakers playing thunderstorms, sometimes without. Story 15. I can use guided meditation to get to sleep in under 10 minutes, but I will wake every 90 minutes to toss and try to get back. But recently I saw some ad about green noise calming you to stop tossing. I downloaded a free app and hooked my phone to a Bluetooth speaker to get it loud enough, and in the last 3 weeks, there have only been 2 nights where I did not fall asleep and stay asleep for at least 6 hours. Story 16 audiobook. Can't sleep without one. Not a real good book though. You don't want to get engrossed in it. I have a wireless earbud in one ear. YouTube have a heap of free books that don't tend to have any ads. You can also set a reminder on YouTube that will pause the clip playing after every 30 minutes so the book doesn't end up playing all night. I wake up 2-3 times a night with stuff on my mind, and I'll put the audiobook back on and fall back to sleep pretty quickly. Story 17. I've been practicing meditation lately, and when I'm getting extremely anxious or when I'm trying to fall asleep, I return to a meditation habit that helps ground me. I return to my breath. I just feel my breath go in and out. I try to make my breath somewhat even. I open my mouth and try to breathe evenly through my mouth and nose. Try to breathe from the lower area in my lungs so that my stomach extends more than my chest. But mostly, just be present with my breath. I am new to it, but it helps me a lot, especially to fall asleep. Story 18. Focus on your breathing. You'll get distracted. Focus on your breathing again and tell the thoughts to come back later. Focus on the breathing again. Get distracted with random thoughts. Come back later. Rinse, repeat, and in each cycle you'll feel yourself slipping into the breath easier and the mind will get still and focus. Focus, rinse, sleep, repeat. Deep, long breaths from the stomach until full inhale, exhale. Not exaggerated or stretched like holding breath. Not the chest if you really want to speed run this. You'll feel your stomach expand rather than your chest with good, healthy breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth, the best results if able. Don't give up if you get distracted from focusing on your breathing. It is not a competition and no one is there to judge. Don't be hard on yourself if your mind wanders. That's natural. Just tell it tomorrow/later. This is like a muscle. The more you do this, the easier it will get, and more reflexively you can just drop into this relaxed state that can lead to sleep or other mind states. Story 19. My example is similar to the initiate a dream, but is more structured and can be more reliable, but possibly less entertaining. I've helped lots of people who have been through recent severe trauma and have been having trouble sleeping. This is the best strategy I've been able to generalize across the board. It doesn't work for everyone, but if you practice, it works for most. Choose an activity that you enjoy a lot, but it can't be sex. I will use an example one of the people who was involved with the Las Vegas shootings chaos shared with me. Imagine yourself, in the most detailed manner you possibly can, doing that activity from very beginning through completion. In the example, this person enjoyed making dresses, costumes, and other clothing for her nieces, nephews, and grandchildren. She would imagine herself choosing the pattern, getting the materials from the store, setting up the sewing machine, cutting the material, etc. The more detail, the better. Sights, sounds, smells will add to the experience. Over time, if you focus in enough detail, you will train your brain to focus on the activity in such detail that you will find yourself falling asleep sooner and sooner. For myself, in the summer, I use snowboarding, and in winter I use golf because they are the off-seasons respectively. When I started, I could make it to the 6th hole of my favorite course. Some days, I barely get my clubs in the back of my car. A friend I've shared this technique with is a great cook and imagines himself making a great steak dinner with sides and dessert. He has said it works really well. Another friend is an outdoorsman and imagines hiking a favorite trail. The person from my example reached out to me a few weeks after we talked, and she said she slept for the first time in days the night we talked and had been able to sleep through the night every night since we spoke. I hope this helps. Story 20. I'll get up, go to my living room, and put on a movie I've seen before. Lately, I've started a small rotation of films that I watch before going into my bedroom for sleep. It's about 5 movies, all of them on the Criterion Collection app. Another thing I have been doing lately is reading about historical royal figures/families or the overall history of certain countries. I don't try to dig in too deep and learn about every person or event. I just focus on reading the wiki article about the subject I've chosen. It's been fascinating, but trying to figure out Nobunaga from one of his adversaries is not an easy feat after midnight. If those don't work, I take a half of a melatonin. If it's after 3:30 a.m., I'm screwed. Story 21. It's important to figure out what is preventing you from sleeping. The techniques that a lot people are suggesting are great, but sometimes there is an underlying cause which can be tackled. It may be stress, anxiety, food intolerance, or even an undiagnosed condition like ADHD. Each cause has its own path, which along with some self-care, exercise, mindfulness, caffeine avoidance, etc., can drastically help. Story 22. I start by imagining I'm in a dark room, easy because I am. Then imagination from here on out, remove a tile from the floor. Under the tile is the ground 5 feet below. I stare intently at the ground and it becomes insanely detailed. Whatever ground it is, I give it my entire focus until I can see every detail of every blade of grass, every pebble in a pond, every speck of dust or tire print on a dirt road. Once that happens, I go through the hole where the tile was and feel my consciousness melt away as I touch the ground. It feels like there's a long pause of nothingness, but then I usually have a lucid dream. Story 23. Maybe I'm insane. I have to keep my entire brain occupied, so I've come up with a method over time that involves a very simple, clear image in my mind. Counting, breathing, imagining sound, touch, and simple interaction between all of those things. An example, I imagine a game of Connect 4. I imagine dragging a red chip up the side. I hear the sound. I feel the chip. I see it moving up. I count every click in my mind. As the chip goes up, I breathe in. As the chip goes down, I see it, hear it, click, click, breath out. Then I move on to the next column and do it with a black chip. I repeat until my mind wanders, then I start over. I'm normal asleep after the 3rd chip. Story 24. I try to slow down and deepen my breathing as much as possible, and that usually does the job. Failing that, reminding myself that even if I don't fall asleep, I'm already doing the next best thing for my body and resting in bed. This usually helps take off the mental pressure that's preventing me from falling asleep and allows me to calm down and relax enough to go to sleep. Story 25. Get up, stretch, turn the thermostat down a degree, take a couple deep breaths, drink some water or a glass of milk. I'm potentially super weird for this, but sometimes I can't sleep because there's too much sensory stuff going on for me. Like I can just feel my body too much. My trick for that is to take a tiny amount of muscle rub, like Icy Hot or Tiger Balm, and put just a tiny dab of it somewhere like the back of my neck, my lower back, behind a knee, etc. My brain focuses on that one spot and chills the fuck out, and I can usually go right to sleep. Story 26. As an insomniac, I struggle so hard to fall asleep. I also have major anxiety when it comes to sleeping, which doesn't help at all. I do take melatonin, which sometimes helps, but that alone won't make me fall asleep. I find that being in a low-lit room, not pitch black, and having either pure white noise, rain, or you can make a Spotify playlist with soothing music the best. Make sure you have your devices out of reach and basically close your eyes and make up an imaginary scenario in your head. I have a diffuser I use as well, which does really help. Use a scent that you find the most comforting. I use the doTERRA Breathe Easy. It is literally so good. Make sure to wash your bed sheets and pillows often, and if you can, invest in a good bedwear. Pillows, sheets, blankets, mattress. And don't think you're too old enough to snuggle up with a teddy. I kid you not, hugging something while falling asleep really helps. Story 27. I work with clients who have sleep issues. Everyone responds differently to the many strategies out there. If it's a once-off tossing and turning, I usually suggest a boring, slow-paced podcast and audiobook or utilizing mental imagery. If it's ongoing, that is 3 nights per week, I suggest finding the root cause. Hint, usually some sort of stress, anxiety. It's important this is managed because after a while you tend to develop an unhealthy relationship with sleep. Some people tend to get anxious close to bedtime due to this issue. Some helpful strategies. Low stimulating entertainment. Optimizing sleep hygiene. This should honestly be step 1. If you can't fall asleep within approximately 20 minutes, remove yourself from your room. Enter a low light room and engage in a low stimulating activity. Book, audiobook, puzzle, etc. Don't go to bed until you're feeling sleepy. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.